She was known for bringing people into a room, having some kind of conversation, and everybody walking out in agreement without people yelling, without fighting, just being in agreement. And it was incredible to watch up close. Nancy Pelosi just announced that she is not going to run for re-election in 2026. This marks the end of her decades-long run in the House, and it caps off her legacy as one of the Democratic Party's most powerful and effective leaders.
For decades, I've cherished the privilege of representing our magnificent city in the United States Congress.
And tonight I have the high privilege and distinct honor of my own as the first president to begin the State of the Union message with these words: Madam Speaker.
As House Speaker, I will say that her greatest strength was that she was a master strategist and a tactician. She knows how to count votes down to every single last member of her caucus. Perhaps her most impressive display of her skill as Speaker and as a strategist and a vote counter was during passage of the Affordable Care Act.
We must pass health care reform. The problem is still there. As long as people go bankrupt if they have a diagnosis, we must pass this legislation.
House Democrats spent more than a year on hearings and policy discussions and piecing together this sweeping healthcare bill that was the hallmark of President Obama's time in office. There was a time when this bill looked like it was dead. There was too much opposition within the party, and then a weekend happened, and she had pulled certain people into a room, and back on Monday, it was alive again. And I credit her, as someone who's covered her for nearly 20 years, as bringing that bill back to life when it looked like it was gone. She notably opposed the Iraq War and brought lots of Democrats on board with measures to try to block funding for the war, and was a strong critic of the war at a time when some others were saying that we needed to go to war over weapons of mass destruction that it turned out did not exist. She also helped to overturn Don't Ask, Don't Tell. She led legislation on that to help to repeal what was once the U.S. military's policy of banning gay, lesbian, and bisexual people from openly serving in the military.
Today we have an opportunity to vote once again to close the door on a fundamental unfairness in our nation. Repealing the discriminatory Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy will honor the service and sacrifice of all who dedicated their lives to protecting the American people.
Pelosi was also very conscious of the optics of her behavior as a leader. There was a very famous picture that went viral of her in a White House meeting with Donald Trump and his cabinet secretaries and top leaders. And she's standing up at the table facing Trump, leaning in toward him with her hands up, like her finger pointed, like pointing at him as if she's saying, no, we're not doing that. She also memorably and in plain view of the millions of people watching the live address that Trump gave to Congress, she stood up behind him on the dais, held up her paper copy of his State of the Union address and ripped it into pieces.
I tore up a manifesto of mistruths. It was necessary to get the attention of the American people to say, this is not true, and this is how it affects you.
What happened toward the end of Biden's tenure, he was running for re-election in 2024, as we all know, and had a pretty disastrous debate performance against Trump in June of 2024. There were a lot of whisper campaigns, a lot of behind-the-scenes conversations that nobody really saw. But the little bit of leaks that came out about this very sensitive time for Democrats put Nancy Pelosi right in the middle. A secret but not so secret behind-the-scenes campaign to get Biden to agree that he shouldn't run again.
Does he have your support to be the head of the Democratic ticket?
As long as the president it's up to the president to decide if he is going to run. We're all encouraging him to make that decision because time is running short.
I do think that one of the standout moments that will always be associated with her was her central role in talking to Joe Biden behind the scenes and publicly, indirectly telling him that he needed to bow out of the 2024 reelection. Her style as a leader is that she tended to rule with a velvet fist. Her approach was known for being more of one who would listen to her caucus, listen to individual members who had problems with something she was doing. She would bring them into a meeting, close the door. They would have some kind of conversation where they cut a deal. And likely she also offered them dark chocolate because she was notorious for having bowls and bowls of dark chocolate out in her office because her San Francisco district is home to Ghirardelli chocolate. She had a personal touch to her style of leadership. But she was also tough as nails, and everybody was a little bit afraid of her and a little bit afraid of crossing her because they knew that she had a whole strategy going on everything she was doing.